Alright guys, so the iPhone 16 Pro Max has just been launched and it's like the hottest device to actually be in Malaysia right now. A lot of people are talking about it, but I was just wondering, like, how would you actually compare an iPhone to something from Android? And not just any Android, but in this case, the Honor Magic V3, which is one of the latest smartphones from Android, flagship phones, which also happens to be affordable. Now, how do they really stack up? Let's take a look. Now, first things first, I want to give you a very quick disclaimer and say that both devices actually offer great experiences depending on what kind of user they are. So it doesn't matter if you are an iPhone supporter or an Android supporter, both devices here are actually great. Now let's take a look at the design. In terms of the design for the iPhone 16 Pro Max, there's really nothing too much to comment on here, but personally, I do like the fact that it looks very minimalist. It comes in these really nice materials, titanium, and this colorway here, the titanium, actually is my personal favorite. Now when we move over to the Honor Magic V3, the Honor Magic V3 comes in a totally different look. So it has this very unique look that also makes it stand out. And more importantly, it's one of the slimmest, if not the slimmest, foldable currently available in the market. And also, it's very lightweight, and that actually makes you feel like you're using a standard candy bar phone. It's that impressive. So in terms of design, it's really subjective which you might prefer, but personally, I think they both look great. Now moving on, let's talk about the biggest difference between these devices, and that's actually in terms of the display. Now obviously, on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you get a larger display with even thinner bezels, and if you like this kind of form factor, you will definitely appreciate the larger screen. Now moving on to the Magic V3, this is where it really separates the iPhone from a foldable. We don't have any foldables from iPhone at the moment, and if you just take a look at the Magic V3, again, for this, clearly you'll be getting two displays, one on the outside and one on the inside. Now this sort of gives you a flexibility to use either a small screen or a big screen on the inside, depending on what you're doing. I think this is the biggest factor in terms of the difference between the iPhone as well as the Magic V3. Again, this really depends on the kind of use case that you are going for, but it's worth mentioning that because the Honor Magic V3 is so slim, you're really sort of like getting two screens in one single phone that weighs just like a standard candy bar. Now moving on, let's move on to one of the most important aspects of a smartphone, and that's in terms of the camera. So starting with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, clearly we do have the new camera button, which I personally think is quite clever because you can actually use it for a number of functions. Double tapping on the button itself will show you a couple of different features which you can glide around and choose the kind of mode that you want to shoot in. However, for the photos taken by the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's literally what you see is what you get. Now what's new on the iPhone 16 Pro Max is actually the photography styles that's built into the phone itself, and personally I think those are very close to LUTs that you actually use in video editing. So it's quite nice, but you need to know how to play around with them to get the best outcome. Now moving on to the Honor Magic V3. Now it does come with a pretty strong set of cameras as well. Not only is it able to zoom even further if you need that kind of zoom, but more importantly, when it comes to portraits, you actually have that hardcore studio portraits, which makes your pictures look really, really nice. Because the Magic V3 has two displays, so when someone is helping you to take a photo, I find it very useful that you have the external screen because it actually helps you to see what you will be getting in the final outcome. So this will be helpful if you have a partner and that person is not great at taking photos of you. In this case, the Honor Magic V3 can make sure that you are able to see yourself here and able to take the perfect shot. So they are just very different in the kind of photos being produced as well as the overall user experience. But let me know which one you actually prefer. Now moving on to the battery life, both devices actually offer very strong battery. On the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's even better than before, and with the new chipset, it's even more efficient as well. However, for the Magic V3, I think in terms of a foldable, it's offering you one of the best kind of battery lives because you are able to use two displays but still able to get an entire day on a single charge. Now how Honor got this to work is by using a 3rd gen silicon carbon battery that's able to provide more battery performance in a lighter and slimmer package. When it comes to charging, however, the Honor Magic V3 is just super fast and is able to charge the device up to full in a very short period of time. So even if you use the device very extensively, you don't have to worry about charging times. Now finally, before we go, a very important difference between both is obviously the software. So we have iOS on one hand and Android on the other. This phone comes with Apple Intelligence, which I personally have not tried out yet because it has not been updated yet. But the Honor Magic V3 comes with Magic OS, which is able to do a couple of AI stuff. I've mentioned a whole suite of AI features that the phone can do. I'll put them down in the link below. Of course, Honor is also working with Google Gemini to actually provide you even more AI services. So Magic OS today is actually very mature and comes with a ton of cool features, especially the AI ones in case you want to play with them. Ultimately, at the end of the day, both devices here do offer very different kinds of experiences. They can't be any more different than just being a candy bar and a foldable. But let me know your thoughts on which one you might actually pick, because the fun fact is their prices are actually very close to one another. They're almost identical. So with that kind of money, which device would you pick? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.